Believe it or not, it's been more than 6 years already since Skoda released its largest and only 7-seat SUV, and now the time for redesign has come. Back in the day, the Kodiaq brought some quite impressive things to the segment of family SUVs. It was more spacious and more practical than the competition. At the same time, it was cheaper. But times have changed, and more expensive and more prestigious car makers learned very well what they need to do to compete with Skoda. Therefore, we wonder if the second generation can make a difference again. We have no doubt that the 2024 Skoda Kodiaq will be great, but can it be a game changer again? Or this time it will be just another SUV? Let's find out. Skoda's first try was impressive. They made a fantastic SUV that, in typical Skoda manner, was a great value for money. And with such success, it was quite expected to see the new generation following the same path. After all, that also happened with Kodiaq's closest relative, the VW Tiguan, which also brought mostly evolutionary changes. And that's why no one is surprised by the fact that the 2024 Skoda Kodiaq rides on the same MQB platform, with a very similar overall design. Moreover, the dimensions are pretty similar, just like the chassis setup. And once again, you have to look very carefully underneath the car to figure out the budget-friendly roots of this, otherwise pretty upscale-looking SUV. Of course, we are talking about the suspension setup, which comes, as expected, with a typical McPherson strut at the front, but on the other hand, the multi-link rear suspension is standard on all models. But that didn't stop the original model from offering a smooth and surprisingly engaging ride, with a minimal dose of body lean in corners. So we presume things are about to be exactly the same in the new model. As a flagship model, the Kodiaq has always been a perfect paradigm of Skoda's design philosophy. It was great in many ways, but never had the prettiest face. And that's why Skoda designers put a lot of effort into new aesthetics. Even though most of the changes are evolutionary, the new face looks way better than before, with way better execution of areas like headlights, grille, bumper, etc. The Kodiaq isn't just a rational choice. It is now also a logical choice for all those who look for an attractive crossover. Besides the new face, the rest of the SUV also looks more muscular than before, even though the proportions are rather the same. The company also presents a whole range of new wheel designs which come in various sizes. The most basic models come with 17-inch units, while the most prestigious trims will be available with quite impressive 20-inchers. The second generation keeps a similar length and wheelbase, but the company promises even more passenger and cargo space. So let's take a more detailed look at the interior. Unlike the exterior that has just been revealed, the cabin design has been a familiar thing for a while. We had a chance to take a look at the new interior long ago, and that time distance allows us to give a better verdict. And we can say it definitely looks great. The Kodiaq has always been designed smartly, with practicality in mind, but it never had the same dose of luxury as its closest sibling, the Tiguan. Now, it looks like the constellation is a little bit different, considering that the differences between the Skoda and VW in terms of materials and build quality seem minimal. This time, Skoda designers decided to spice up things for a bit, to be more creative than VW designers were with the new Tiguan. So the dashboard doesn't look as conservative as before. You can notice some new shapes, especially on the center stack and air vents, but the highlights of the new dash are, as expected, tech features. By far, visually the most dominant part of the cabin is that massive 13-inch infotainment screen that takes most of the center stack. Below, there are a couple of air vents, and then something you will highly appreciate: physical controls. We are so happy that Skoda decided to keep a couple of knobs so you can control climate controls and audio volume. The next thing you'll probably notice is the shifter. It's gone, at least from the center console, which now offers way more space. The gear shifter has been moved to the steering column, and as that design solution isn't everyone's cup of tea, time will tell if this was a smart move or not. Finally, let's not forget the latest iteration of the so-called virtual cockpit, a massive 10.25 digital instrument cluster with crisp graphics and lots of customization options. As we already mentioned, the second generation Kodiaq features pretty similar dimensions to the original, but the company still claims more passenger and cargo room than before. We didn't get a chance to measure the new cabin, but if we consider that the original model is already impressive in this aspect, things cannot be bad. And once again, Skoda will give its buyers a chance to choose between 5 and 7-seat configurations. The same thing goes for the cargo area. We don't have the numbers, so we will refer to the previous generation to give you a picture of Kodiaq's roominess. The original model features 270 liters of space behind the third row, up to 720 liters behind the second row, and 2,065 liters with the second row down, which are all amazing numbers for the class. Considering the same platform, it was kind of expected to see the next generation Kodiaq equipped with the same powertrain options as the original, but the company updated pretty much every single engine to make it more efficient and peppier. Once again, the core of the offer will consist of 2 petrol and 2 diesel units. When it comes to petrol-powered models, the biggest novelty is the addition of a mild hybrid system, which should have a positive effect on MPG ratings and also improve already good throttle response. The offer starts with a 1.5-liter Turbo 4, which is rated at 150 horsepower. If you're looking for something different, the new Kodiaq will also be offered with a 2-liter Turbo 4 and 204 horsepower, also backed up with a small electric motor. So far, we haven't heard much about the VRS model, but we presume it will be added to the lineup soon after. But most Kodiaq buyers rather choose a diesel because of better fuel economy and more torque. Skoda expects a similar trend from the new generation, so the well-known 2-liter TDI will be offered too. It will come in 2 output variants, with the base version featuring 150 horsepower and a more powerful option with 193 horses. As expected, all models come with dual clutch transmission and front-wheel drive, while more powerful petrol and diesel units can also be equipped with all-wheel drive. The new 2024 Skoda Kodiaq will also come in a plug-in hybrid variant for the first time in its 6-year-long history. And, as you may presume, it will use a familiar system, very similar to the one that powers the 8th generation of the VW Golf. The system is based on a 1.5-liter petrol engine that is backed up by an electric motor. The combined output goes up to 204 horsepower, and unlike non-electrified models, this one won't use a dual-clutch transmission, but rather a classic automatic with a torque converter. Besides plenty of power, the new Kodiaq PHEV will also benefit from the ability to run solely on electric power. And if we consider the massive 25.7 kilowatt-hour battery, it's no surprise that the company claims all-electric autonomy of 62 miles or 100 kilometers. That's an impressive achievement, but not the only great thing about this plug-in hybrid system. Namely, most plug-in hybrids support nothing but a slow AC charger. The Kodiaq, on the other hand, also supports 50 kilowatt DC charging, so you can recharge it at public stations pretty much in no time. The all-new 2024 Skoda Kodiaq has just been presented, and according to the officials, sales will start pretty soon, already in the first half of 2024. As for the price, we estimate that the UK market model will be available at around £37,000 and over €40,000 in most parts of the old continent. As for the competition, times when Skoda was a great alternative to renowned European brands are long gone. Today, Skoda is a primary choice, one of the prominent players in this part of the world, so we can say that the key rivals will be models like Peugeot 5008, Renault Austral, and Hyundai Tucson, along with in-house rivals Volkswagen Tiguan Allspace and Seat Tarraco. What do you think about the all-new 2024 Skoda Kodiaq? Is it really a game changer or just another SUV? Would you prefer this one over the Volkswagen Tiguan? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.